My name is Regina Trailweaver. I help people create lasting lifestyle change for holistic health based on the sciences of yoga for awareness, Ayurveda for acceptance, and psychology for alignment. My morning walk is my number one healthy routine, connecting me to the natural rhythms of life within and all around me. I begin in the garden, simply noticing where the flowers are in their blooming stages, and then looking up past the trees towards the sky, where I find the moon is still lingering, as it's still so early in the morning. I then move on, noticing the milkweed, where the butterflies feed. The monarch butterflies in particular love this milkweed. Can't spot any butterflies today, but oh my goodness, here's some bear poop filled with berries. Later, I observed a chipmunk happily eating those berries right out of the bear poop. Not for me, but here's some berries for me, growing right along the way on my walk, filled with rasa, the juiciness of life. Yum. A little breakfast as I begin my walk. I am not always motivated. Not every day is this bright. But as soon as I step out into the beauty and drama of the natural world, any resistance melts away, and I am filled with anticipation for my daily adventure. Decades ago, during a period of great stress, I was overwhelmed by fatigue and had my first session with an Ayurvedic practitioner. She gave me a few simple suggestions, including the early morning walk. It changed my life and supported her other recommendations, making them easy to implement as well. My mood is lifted and my senses delighted and engaged as each new vista opens up before me. There are probably countless reasons to take a walk, especially in the early morning, but I will focus on the 6 that are most important to me. Number 1, bone density. As I'm aging, I have developed osteopenia, and each step along the way, as I'm bathing in beauty, is building up my bone density. Number 2 is the connection to nature and to the 5 elements that make up the universe. I especially love the flowers waving gently in the breeze, the element of air, drawing up nutrients from the earth element, growing towards the sky and the sun, elements of space and fire, and drawing life from the water element. To walk in beauty, as the Native Americans advise, is not just to enjoy the gifts of nature all around us, but to pay attention, to observe the details, to notice the change in position of sun and moon and planets and weather. The more we truly appreciate the natural world, the more likely we are to make choices to protect and defend it. Listening to the sounds of the birds and the insects, seeing the play of shadow and light, seeing where the earth meets the sky, reminds me that I am not just an observer. I am a part of nature, just like these flowers. I am alive because of the 5 elements. I too am dependent on the nutrients from the earth, thirsty for water, in need of fire, the movement of air, and the space to live. And like these flowers, I am ephemeral, here for a fleeting yet exquisite moment. When we rise early, O traveler on the path of life, to walk in beauty, we also tone the vagus nerve, which is benefit number 3. Humans sometimes forget that they are part of nature. I love this neighbor who remembers and keeps her yard wild to support the birds and insects. Although I don't get to see her today, I feel a sense of connection as I walk by her home. And then turning the corner from shadow into light, from space enclosed by trees, which then opens up into a spacious meadow, I am reminded of my mother-in-law, a lifelong yogini, who always talked about turning the corner. She often would say after a hard time that we had turned a corner. And this point in the walk always reminds me of her. The spaciousness, the opening up to the sky above. When we turn a corner, we get a new perspective, a new view. Our experiences in nature help us understand our emotions and thoughts, both on this metaphorical level, but also by literally toning the vagus nerve, cleansing it as well. And these social experiences are not just with humans, but with beings of all kinds, like this cat. And later you'll see birds and butterflies. This cat belongs to two little boys. I didn't film them because I want to protect their privacy, but they came out of this barn with a 5-pointed star to remember the innocent teens who were tragically killed several years ago in our community. The two boys were still in their pajamas as they rode on their bicycles from the barn to their house, and they told me that all of the chickens in the barn had been killed by a bear, and that the horse also had died. The next time I saw them, the older one was protecting a chick from the ducks, and the younger one was telling me all about the gold and the crystals he was going to get in his pirate costume. At this tender age, they are already stoic and yet still full of dreams. This early morning time, it's a time of deep listening. And in that deep listening, we can find such deep connection between ourselves, our neighbors, and all the beings in the spaces all around us. The vagus nerve is toned by these social and emotional connections. Children growing up on a farm learn early about the big natural rhythms of life and death. And while my morning walk reminds me of that, it also is the daily circadian rhythm that is empowered. That is benefit number 4. The early morning sunlight, direct on a bluebird day or diffused by trees or clouds, supports the pineal gland, which helps us to get up easily in the morning and easily fall asleep at night. The pineal gland also helps us to perceive, understand, and fully experience reality. The meeting of the earth element with the sky, the portal to the element of space, the sound of the water bubbling along, its life-giving power evident everywhere, the ions dancing in the play of shadow and light, the sun, the fire element, even in the water, is evident. The pineal gland is stimulated and the vagus nerve is soothed by both the sight and the sound of the water. Resting into the earth, giving life to these flowers which seem to be saying hello to me. Hello, hello. Do you see me? Yes, I do. And you're beautiful. The pineal gland reminds us and helps us to understand the ephemeral nature of everything, not just the flowers, but all of this beauty is temporary. However temporary they may be, these vistas have a powerful positive influence on our emotional and psychological states. The vagus nerve feels safe when we can have a view of the world around us. Quiet, peaceful water, colors of the flowers, the trees, the sky. And I want to acknowledge here how privileged I am to be able to have access to this. I am on the unceded, ancestral lands of the Abenaki people. As I experience benefit number 5, these vistas, there is a shadow. When I walk in beauty and ponder these deeper perspectives and smaller views, I am also experiencing benefit number 6, aerobic training, the stimulation of the pituitary gland, and overall boosting my metabolism. As I walk along, noticing the brook and the butterflies, I remember a quote from the Journal of Happiness Studies. Moderately active people are 30% happier, while very active people are 52% happier. However, according to Dr. Phil Naffatone, very active people will benefit from slowing down and taking a walk. Besides all the other reasons to take an early morning walk, you are increasing your aerobic efficiency. The aerobic system burns fat and trains the body to utilize that system, training your mitochondria to use fats more effectively, even when you are not moving. Walking establishes an aerobic base so that when you are more active, running or cycling, for example, you can exercise at a much higher intensity before lactate starts accumulating, because you are so aerobically conditioned by the simple act of walking. Your HRV, heart rate variability, will also be better if and when you do exercise at a higher intensity, and you will recover more easily. Science once again supports Ayurveda, the science of life, and Ayurveda once again offers holistic health, social, physical, emotional, and psychological health. And here we are, turning the corner again. I often wished that my house could be improved in some way, finished at last. But instead, now I'm just so happy to see it, to be home, to feel so fortunate. I stopped to look at the echinacea, hoping to find some butterflies, but I find these busy bees instead, just as much fun. And home at last, the front door welcomes me. I walk in every kind of weather through all the seasons, unless it's dangerous out. Reading from A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. But for the Count, his philosophical leanings had always been essentially meteorological. Specifically, he believed in the inevitable influence of clement and inclement weathers. He believed in the influence of early frosts and lingering summers, of ominous clouds and delicate rains, of fog and sunshine and snowfall. And he believed most especially in the reshaping of destinies by the slightest change in the thermometer. Ayurveda agrees that in the science of life, we can obtain and maintain holistic health by paying close attention to all kinds of weather, internal and external, and syncing up the natural rhythm of your body with the way in which the 5 elements are moving through your environment. So we have the doshas, your physical constitution and personality traits, dominated by either air and space, or fire and water, or earth and water. Your dosha must adjust to the time of day, week, or month, and to the seasons, which are also dominated by one of the 5 elements. Healthy and healing routines, like my morning walk, alert me to which elemental energy is most active within and all around me. And the routines of Ayurveda and yoga practice ensure that I can come into balance energetically and elementally. Try my 16-minute yoga routine to connect with the 5 elements and to return to your own natural rhythms.